One dark, clear night in Ohio, a flaming object was seen streaking across the quiet midnight sky. It shone brightly for a second or two, then fizzled out just above Horwitz Elementary School. Nobody gave it a second thought. The next day, everything seemed pretty normal. Nobody noticed anything different about the school. Nobody paid any attention to the roof. And of course, nobody looked up and said, "Hey, what's that big spaceship thingy doing on the roof of the school?" Perhaps if they had, the horrible ordeal that followed might never have happened, and you wouldn't be sitting here reading about it now. But they didn't, it did, and, well, here we are. As we can all plainly see, there was a spaceship on top of the building. And inside that spaceship were 3 of the most evil, hideous, and merciless spacemen ever to set foot on the roof of a small Midwestern elementary school. Their names were Zorx, Clax, and Jennifer. Their mission? To take over planet Earth. First, said Zorax, we must find a way to infiltrate the school. Then, said Clax, we will turn all the children into giant, superpowered, evil zombie nerds. Finally, said Jennifer, we will use them to take over the world. Zorx and Clax laughed and laughed. Silence, you fools, barked Jennifer. If our plan is to work, we must wait until it is narratively convenient. In the meantime, we will watch their every move in our scope. Early that same morning, George and Harold were sitting at their 10:15 a.m. science class making silly noises. Meow, George meowed softly without moving his lips. Rrr, growled Harold without opening his mouth. There it is again, exclaimed their science teacher, Mr. Fide. I distinctly heard a cat and a dog in here. We didn't hear anything, the children said, trying not to laugh. I must be hearing things again, Mr. Fide worried. Maybe you should leave and go see a doctor, said George with concern. I can't, said Mr. Fide. Today is the day of the big volcano experiment. All the children groaned. Mr. Fide's science experiments were usually the most crazy things on Earth. They almost never worked and were always boring. But today's experiment was different. Mr. Fide brought in a large, fake-looking volcano that he had made out of paper mache. He filled the volcano with a box of ordinary baking soda. Baking soda is also called sodium bicarbonate, explained Mr. Fide. Meow. Said Mr. Fide. Did any of you children hear, never mind. Mr. Fide opened up a bottle of clear liquid. Now watch what happens when I pour vinegar into the baking soda, he said. The children watched as the tiny volcano started to rumble. Soon, a large glob of foamy goop spurted out the top. The goop poured over the desk and dripped onto the floor, creating a huge mess. Oops, said Mr. Fide. I guess I used too much baking soda. George and Harold were stunned. How did you do that? Asked Harold. Well, Mr. Fide said, the vinegar acts as a liberating agent which releases the gaseous carbonate radical element of the sodium Meow. Mr. Fide paused. Excuse me, children. I've got to go see a doctor. Mr. Fide put on his coat and hurried out the door. George and Harold got up and studied the messy volcano experiment with great interest. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Asked George. I think I'm thinking what you're thinking, said Harold.